Before the story begins, if you enjoy HFY and sci-fi tales, please subscribe to this channel. Now let the story begin. The great throne hall of the Juracan Empire stood silent as the giant doors opened. Everyone stopped breathing when Queen Juraka walked in. 8 feet tall, armored like living stone, eyes glowing with silver fire. She was the strongest being her people had ever served. But today, there was something different in the air. The queen's steps were slower, heavier, almost uncertain. Her royal guards watched her carefully, wondering why their powerful ruler looked troubled. Hours earlier, the queen had received a message from her science division. A message so impossible, so shocking, that she destroyed the entire communication tablet with one strike. Now, she walked into the medical chamber, her jaw tight, her eyes sharp. The chamber smelled of metal and energy. Machines hummed, lights flickered, and the royal scientist stood frozen in fear, holding a glowing data screen in shaking hands. "My queen, we ran the tests again." His voice cracked, and the result is still the same. The queen stared at him, her voice deep and cold. "Say it." He swallowed hard. "You are pregnant." Silence hit the room like a weapon. The queen's eyes narrowed, her breath slow and dangerous. "Impossible," she growled. "My species cannot create life with humans." She looked at the scientist as if she would crush him for speaking such nonsense. Her fists tightened. The room temperature dropped. The scientist quickly stepped back, terrified. "We checked the readings many times," he whispered. "There is a life form inside you, and its genetic signature is half human." The queen leaned forward, towering over him. Half human. The word tasted like poison. Her body felt heavy again. A strange heat moved through her chest, her spine, her skin. She hated the feeling. It made her feel vulnerable, something she had never been. She turned away, refusing to believe it. The queen walked through the halls with long, powerful steps. But the strange pain, no, not pain, something else, kept returning, like something was moving inside her. She ignored every guard, every bow, every greeting. No one mattered right now. Only the truth. There was only one possible reason this madness could be happening. One source. The human prisoner. Ethan, the lone human captured during a border conflict. A simple man, or so she thought. Fragile. Soft. He should have been afraid of her, but he never bowed. Never trembled. Never begged. Instead, he always looked at her calmly, almost as if he knew something she did not. The queen remembered his words clearly. "You have no idea what humans can do." At the time, she laughed at him, mocked him, thought he was a fool. But now his words echoed in her mind like thunder. The queen reached the holding chamber. Metal walls, heavy gates, red lights blinking. Guards stood ready, but she raised a hand. "Leave us." The guards obeyed instantly and stepped back. The queen entered the chamber alone. Ethan sat on the floor, his wrists chained, his eyes half closed. When he saw her, he didn't panic, didn't tense up. He simply lifted his head and looked at her. "You look troubled," he said softly. His calm voice made her anger rise. She moved close to him, her shadow covering him completely. "Human," she said, her tone sharp. "Tell me what you have done." Ethan tilted his head, confused. "Done? To you? Nothing at all." "Lies," she snapped. "There's something inside me. Something that should not exist." She watched his eyes carefully. If he showed fear, she would know he was guilty. If he panicked, she would know he was hiding something. But Ethan only exhaled slowly, as if he already expected this moment. "Your scientist told you, didn't he?" he asked quietly. The queen froze. "How do you know what my scientist told me?" Ethan lowered his gaze for a moment, as if choosing his words carefully. "Because I felt at the moment it happened." The queen's heart stumbled. "What did you feel? Tell me." Ethan looked straight into her glowing silver eyes. A connection. The queen stepped back as if he had struck her. Impossible. Ridiculous. Only her species could connect through energy. Humans did not have that ability. And yet, her body reacted to him. Her pulse changed. The heat returned again, stronger this time. She clenched her jaw. "You will explain everything," she ordered. "If you lie, You will not survive the night. Ethan nodded calmly. I will tell you everything I know, but you must listen, not as a queen, but as someone who wants the truth. His voice had a strange power, soft but steady, human but fearless. It made the queen feel something she did not understand, something dangerous, something new. She could not show weakness, so she straightened her back and glared at him. Speak, human. Ethan's chains rattled as he shifted slightly. He took a slow breath. Your body chose me. The queen's eyes widened. He continued. It was not something I forced, and not something you could stop. It's a rare thing, only possible between a human and someone with great strength. The queen felt her chest tighten. What are you talking about? Ethan held her gaze. Your energy and mine connected, and now there is life inside you because of it. The queen's breath stopped for a moment. Connected? Her? With a human? She wanted to deny it, destroy him, silence him. But instead, she whispered the only question her mind could form. Why me? Ethan smiled, not with mockery, but with something gentle. Because even the strongest beings in the galaxy can be touched by something unexpected. The queen felt her heart race, and for the first time in her life, she was afraid. The queen stood frozen in the cold metal chamber, Ethan's words echoing inside her skull like distant thunder. Her breath was uneven. Her muscles felt tight, but not from anger. It was something else, something unfamiliar. She hated unfamiliar things. The silence stretched between them, thick and heavy. Ethan did not look away. He did not lower his eyes. He waited for her reaction with the calm patience of a man who understood more than he should. Finally, the queen spoke, her voice low and dark. You speak like you understand my body better than I do. Ethan gave a small, slow nod. I understand what happened between us. Not the whole science, but the connection. He paused. The moment our energy touched, something changed in you. Energy, connection, change. 3 words that pressed against the queen like invisible chains. She moved closer, her shadow swallowing him again. You think a simple human can connect with a ruler of my bloodline? She hissed. My species is older than your entire planet. Ethan smiled faintly. And yet, something inside you chose me. Not your council. Not your ancestors. You. Her jaw tightened. She wanted to tear the chains off him. Not to free him, but to crush him for speaking as if he understood her inner world. Her emotions. Her strength. Her fear. Fear. She hated that word, but she could not deny it anymore. Something inside her was growing, changing, shifting, and it was connected to the human sitting quietly before her. The chamber door slid open suddenly. 2 royal guards entered, their armor glowing with danger. My queen, one said, bowing deeply. The council demands your presence. They say it is urgent. The queen's eyes narrowed. Urgent. Of course they knew. Rumors spread fast in the palace like fire in dry forests. She turned to Ethan. This conversation is not finished. Ethan answered softly. I know. His voice felt too steady, too sure, and it bothered her more than any enemy she had ever faced. She left the chamber, but her steps were heavier now. Not with strength, but weight. A weight she did not understand. The guards followed her down the long golden hallway. Every wall carried carvings of her victories. Every torch flickered as if bowing when she passed. Every warrior who saw her lowered their head in respect. But something inside her whispered, what if they see weakness? What if they already know? What if they turn against you? She forced the thoughts away, but they came back like echoes. When she entered the council hall, 12 elders stood waiting. Tall, old, and cold, like statues carved from ancient stone. The high elder stepped forward. My queen, we have received disturbing information. The queen did not blink. Her voice became iron again. And what information is that? The elder lifted a crystal tablet, glowing with her medical scans. There is a life inside you, and its DNA is impure. His voice was sharp, human. The council whispered among themselves, their voices full of fear and something else. Hunger, power. The queen's hands twitched. So, she said softly, you dare question me? The high elder did not step back. Instead, He raised his chin, challenging her authority. "We question the danger," he said. "A human seed inside the queen? This is a threat we cannot allow." Another elder spoke. "Humans are weak. If a child is born from this impurity, it may carry instability." Another chimed in. "We must end this before it becomes a problem." The queen stared at them in silence. And this, in her, and the life inside her. Her breath darkened, deepened, grew cold. "You want to kill what grows inside me," she said slowly. "We want to protect the empire," the elders said together. The queen stepped toward them. Only one step, but the entire hall trembled. "You speak of protection," she growled, "yet you act out of fear." She leaned forward, eyes blazing. "Fear makes you weak." The high elder did not look away. "Fear makes us careful. And killing a human prisoner," she added, her teeth bare. "Is that also careful? Because I know that is your plan." A few elders flinched. Yes, they wanted Ethan dead, removed, erased. He was a problem to them, a danger, a question they could not answer. And the queen hated questions more than enemies. She turned, her armor ringing. "Touch the human, and you will face me." The elders gasped. "My queen!" She lifted a hand, silencing them with pure authority. "I will speak to no one about this again." She walked out of the hall, leaving them frozen in fear and confusion. As she moved through the palace corridors, her heartbeat echoed louder. Faster, stronger. Not her heartbeat. Another one, inside her. A pulse that was not alien, not pure, not expected, but powerful. She stopped walking, placing a hand on her abdomen. "What are you?" she whispered to the life inside her. Her skin tingled. A soft, warm energy spread from within. And for the first time today, she did not feel fear. She felt something else. A warning, a promise, a connection. She knew she needed answers. And there was only one being in this galaxy who could give them to her. The human. Ethan. She turned sharply and began walking back toward the holding chamber. Faster, heavier, like something inside her was pushing her forward. She did not know whether she was walking toward truth or toward the greatest danger she had ever faced. But one thing was clear. The connection between her and the human was real, and it was growing. The queen moved through the dark corridors like a storm wrapped in steel. Her steps echoed, heavy, deliberate, almost shaking the palace under her weight. Every torch she passed flickered violently, as if afraid to stay lit in her presence. She did not slow down. She did not breathe easily. Something inside her refused to let her rest. That strange heartbeat, that warm pulse under her ribs. It grew stronger with every step she took toward the human, as if the life inside her knew exactly where she was going, as if it wanted her to go there. When she reached the holding chamber, the guards straightened nervously. None of them dared speak. They felt something off in the air, something powerful but unstable. The queen lifted her hand. "Open it." The gate slid open with a hiss, metal trembling like it feared who was about to enter. Ethan looked up the moment she stepped inside. No fear, no shock, just quiet understanding. "You came back sooner than I expected," he said softly. The queen's eyes glowed brighter. "Do not play games with me. Something is happening in my body, and you will explain it." Ethan nodded slowly and stood, chains clinking lightly. "It's not easy to explain," he said, "but I will try." The queen crossed her arms, towering over him like a living mountain. "Speak." Ethan inhaled deeply. "When you first touched my mind, even by accident, our energies mixed. Your species has strong psychic fields. Humans have unstable ones." He paused. "When strong meets unstable, sometimes they merge." The queen frowned. "My species connects only with our own. Humans are not capable of this." Ethan smiled, not mocking but sad. "Humans are capable of far more than the galaxy believes. We don't have strong bodies or great armies, but we adapt. We change. We survive." His words had weight, a different kind of strength, invisible but real. The queen felt her heartbeat shift again. A second pulse answered it inside her. She stiffened. "There it is again," she whispered. Ethan stepped closer without fear. "What does it feel like?" The queen hesitated. She had never admitted weakness, never described her inner sensations to anyone. But something in Ethan's voice made her speak. It feels like a ripple, a warm wave moving through me, sometimes strong, sometimes gentle. She placed her hand on her abdomen. It is not my heartbeat. It is something else alive. Ethan nodded. It's reacting to your emotions. The Queen's eyes widened. You're telling me it can feel what I feel? Ethan held her gaze. Yes. A long silence followed, deep, thick, heavy. The thought frightened her more than any war. But then something else happened. A faint glow, barely visible, flickered beneath her armor. A soft blue light pulsed across her skin, like a heartbeat of pure energy. Ethan saw it. That is new. The Queen looked down, stunned. Her skin had never glowed before. Her race glowed only during battle rage, never in calm moments. What is this? She demanded. Ethan stepped closer again, drawn by the light. I think the child is trying to connect with you. The Queen stepped back instantly. Do not call it that. Ethan's voice remained soft. What else should I call it? She didn't answer. She couldn't, because the truth was clawing at her mind, scratching at her pride. Something was inside her, something growing, something changing her. Suddenly, alarms blared through the chamber. Red lights flashed. The Queen turned sharply. What is happening? The guards ran toward her. My Queen! They saluted quickly. There's been a breach in the palace security levels. How? She demanded. The guard hesitated. We believe someone shut down the inner scanners. Someone from inside. Inside. The word hit her like cold iron. Someone in the palace wanted information, or wanted access to her, to the human, to the thing growing inside her. She narrowed her eyes. Who is responsible? We do not know yet, the guard said. But the attack seems planned. Someone is trying to reach this chamber. The Queen stepped in front of Ethan without thinking. It happened so fast, she didn't realize she had moved. Her giant form shielded him completely. Ethan noticed. You're protecting me? The Queen froze. I am protecting my answers, she snapped. Do not misunderstand. Ethan smiled slightly, but the Queen felt her pulse quicken, and the other pulse inside her grew warm again, as if responding, as if approving. She ignored it, but her chest tightened. Footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. Fast, heavily armored, dozens of them. The Queen's senses snapped into battle mode instantly. She turned toward the door, her posture shifting, her eyes glowing brighter than before. The guards took positions, weapons ready. Ethan stepped back, but the Queen reached out suddenly and pushed him behind her. Stay behind me, she ordered. Ethan whispered. You don't have to. Do not argue, she growled quietly. He fell silent. Because he finally understood something, the Queen was not protecting him out of duty. She was protecting him out of instinct. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then, boom. The chamber door shook violently. Another blow. Then another. They're trying to break in, one guard shouted. The Queen lowered her stance, muscles tightening, energy rising in her veins. But Ethan noticed something else. Her skin glowed again. Not blue this time. Silver. Stronger. Brighter. The Queen gasped softly as the heat inside her surged like fire. What is happening to me? She whispered. Ethan's eyes widened. It's the connection. The child is reacting to danger. It's giving you more power. The Queen swallowed hard. Power? No. This was something beyond power. This was evolution. Transformation. And it frightened her more than any enemy breaking through the door. Boom. Another hit. This time, the metal bent. Guards readied themselves. The Queen glared at the door, her voice turning into a deep growl. Let them come. But Ethan could see something behind her strength. A question she didn't dare speak. What am I becoming? The door bent further. Light leaked through, and whoever stood on the other side was coming for them both. The chamber door bent inward like soft metal under the force of the attack. Sparks flew. The walls shook. Dust rained down from the ceiling like falling stars. The Queen stood in front of Ethan, her glowing skin pulsing with a strange rhythm. It was not her own heartbeat. It was the other one, the one inside her, the one growing stronger by the second. Her guards tightened their formation, weapons raised, but fear was already spreading through their ranks. Whatever was outside, it wasn't afraid of them. Boom! The metal warped again, almost snapping. The queen's eyes glowed like molten silver. "Stay behind me," she whispered again, not looking at Ethan. He nodded silently. He could feel the energy radiating from her like heat from a star. Another blow. The final one. The door crashed inward and slammed to the ground. A thick cloud of smoke filled the chamber. Shapes moved inside the smoke. Tall, heavy-armed. The queen inhaled slowly, ready for battle. Then she heard a voice. Not from the intruders. From inside her. A whisper, soft but clear, vibrating through her bones. "Protect him." The queen's eyes widened. Her unborn child had spoken. Not with words, but with instinct. With emotion. Ethan noticed her reaction. "What is it?" he whispered. The queen didn't answer. Or maybe she couldn't. Because the smoke cleared, and the intruders stepped forward. 12 armored soldiers. Elite warriors. The council's private guard. But they weren't here to greet her. Their weapons were pointed at her chest. At her stomach. At her child. One of them stepped forward, visor glowing red. "My queen," he said, voice emotionless. "We have orders." The queen knew those orders. She felt the rage rise inside her like a wildfire. "Put your weapons down," she commanded. No one moved. "Your orders are treason," she growled. The soldier replied calmly. "We serve the Empire. Not your mistake." Ethan stiffened. The queen's breath turned cold. Mistake. They called her child a mistake. Her eyes blazed so fiercely the guard stepped back without meaning to. "Who gave this order?" she demanded. The soldier didn't hesitate. "The High Council." The queen almost laughed. A low, dangerous sound. "My own council thinks they can control me? Kill what grows inside me." She took a step forward. The ground cracked under her feet. "You dare challenge your queen?" The soldier raised his weapon. "We dare protect our people from a hybrid abomination." The queen's rage snapped. But before she could strike, the first guard fired. A bolt of red-hot plasma shot straight toward her stomach. Ethan shouted her name. But before the bolt could hit, a blinding wave of silver light exploded out of the queen's body. Not from her hands. Not from her mind. From her child. The shockwave hit the guards like a collapsing star. They were thrown across the chamber, armor shattering, weapons breaking, bodies hitting walls with bone-crushing force. Silence. Smoke. The smell of burning metal. The queen stared at her own hands, glowing with the same silver energy. "What was that?" she whispered. Ethan stepped forward, stunned. "That wasn't you," he said. "It protected you." She touched her stomach again. The warmth pulsed. Soft. Alive. Aware. Her child, the hybrid, had just defended its mother. The queen's breath trembled. She had always known power, brutal strength, battle instinct, leadership. But this was something else. Something she couldn't control, and yet something that belonged to her more than anything else in the galaxy. Ethan stepped closer, not cautiously, almost drawn in. "This child, it's not a threat," he said softly. "It reacts to danger. It responds to your emotions. It wants to survive." The queen turned to him, unsure how to answer. But before she could speak, another alarm sounded. A deeper one, a darker one. A voice echoed through the palace speakers. "All forces report. The queen has been compromised." "Repeat. The queen has been compromised." "Priority command. Retrieve the child. Terminate the human." The queen froze. "Retrieve the child. Terminate the human." She felt the cold weight of betrayal settle inside her chest. Her own council had launched a full-scale operation against her. Against him. Against their connection. Ethan looked at her, breathing hard. "They're coming. More than before." The queen nodded slowly. "Yes." Her voice was no longer angry. It was calm, focused, sharp, because something inside her had changed forever. Not because of fear, but because of instinct. She moved toward Ethan and placed her hand on his shoulder. He looked up in surprise. "You will not die today," she said. "Why?" he asked quietly. The queen hesitated for one heartbeat. Then she spoke. "Because my child demands your survival, and I obey my blood." Ethan stared at her, not with shock, but with something deeper. Respect. Trust. and something he hadn't shown before: warmth. The queen turned to her guards. "Stand ready. Anyone who enters this chamber is an enemy of the crown." The guards nodded, fear mixing with loyalty. "Where will we go?" Ethan asked. The queen's eyes glowed brighter, silver energy pulsing beneath her skin. "We go to the throne," she said. "It is time for my council to remember who their queen truly is." As they moved toward the exit, the child pulsed again inside her, a gentle warning and a promise. The queen whispered to Ethan without turning her head, "Stay close. The Empire will burn before I let them touch you." He followed her, silent, but inside, he finally understood. The queen wasn't just protecting him. She was changing, evolving, becoming something new, something unstoppable. And whatever she was becoming, the entire galaxy was about to witness it. The palace corridors were no longer quiet. They throbbed with alarms, echoing like war drums through metal halls. Lights flickered blood red. Doors slammed shut. Shadows ran across the walls as soldiers gathered, weapons humming with deadly light. The queen walked through the chaos like a force of nature. Her armor glowed with the same silver pulse rising inside her. Ethan followed close behind, keeping pace even though his legs were much smaller than her bulk. Every guard they passed stepped aside, unsure whether to bow or aim their weapons. Her presence felt different now, heavier, sharpened. Even the air around her felt charged, alive. The child inside her was awake, and it did not like danger. They turned a corner and stopped. A squad of soldiers blocked the path. Not normal soldiers. The queen recognized the insignia on their armor. Shadow Guard, the council's secret enforcers. They never appeared unless someone high in power wanted blood. Their commander, a tall, brutal-looking warrior, stepped forward. "My queen," he said with a deep bow. "We are here to escort you to safety." The queen's eyes narrowed. "Safety from whom?" The commander's visor glowed red. "From a human behind you." Ethan stiffened. The queen stepped forward, voice low and dangerous. "He is under my protection." The commander did not move. "My queen, we have strict orders. The human is to be removed, and the thing inside you is to be taken to the council for containment." Ethan swallowed. The queen's jaw tightened. "You dare call my child a thing?" The soldiers raised their weapons. The commander spoke more loudly. "We follow the High Council, not your personal attachments." The queen lifted her head, slowly. "Attachment." She smiled. A terrifying smile. "Is that what they call survival now?" The commander didn't answer. The queen took one more step. "You have one chance. Lower your weapons. Leave the hall. Do not return." The soldiers did not move. Ethan felt the air shift, like the room sucked in a silent breath. Then the commander spoke. "We cannot obey. Surrender the human now." The queen's glow intensified. Her armor cracked with threads of energy. Her eyes burned white-hot. Ethan whispered, "They're scared. They think you're unstable." She answered without looking at him. "They should be scared." The commander shouted, "Fire!" But before a single weapon could discharge, a massive shockwave burst from the queen's body. Silver energy exploded outward like a tidal wave of light. The soldiers were thrown into the walls, their armor sparking, their weapons shattering. Some collapsed instantly. Others convulsed, unable to stand. Ethan shielded his eyes. The queen looked down at her glowing hands, her breath shaky. "That was not me," she whispered. "That was it." Ethan stepped forward. "The child is reacting faster, stronger." She nodded slowly. "Yes, and I cannot control it." But the queen didn't look afraid. She looked determined. As the last of the shadow guards fell unconscious, she turned and began walking again. Ethan rushed after her. "Where are we going now?" The queen didn't break her pace. "To the council hall." Ethan blinked. "That's where all the danger is." "I know." "Then why?" She finally looked at him. A cold fire burned in her eyes. "Because hiding gives them power, and I do not hide." He couldn't argue with that. But something else worried him. "Your energy, it's changing. I can feel it from here." The queen paused. "Just for a moment." "I feel it too," she admitted. "It is not rage. It is not fear. It is something new." "What does it feel like?" Ethan asked. She looked forward again. Like something inside me is waking up. The hallway lights flickered as if reacting to her words. As they approached the council hall, the doors were already open. Too open. A trap. The queen stepped inside anyway. The 12 council members stood in a wide circle, their long robes reflecting the red emergency lights. Behind them, a group of scientists, machines humming, energy restraints ready. They plan to capture her and take the child. The High Elder stepped forward. "My queen," he said, "you have put the Empire at risk." The queen didn't blink. "You tried to kill my child." The elder raised his chin. "We tried to destroy a threat. A hybrid life form has no place in our society. And the human. Say one more word about him." The queen breathed quietly, "and I will end you where you stand." The council murmured nervously. The High Elder frowned. "You are not yourself. The pregnancy is corrupting your mind. We are here to help." Ethan whispered from behind her. "They're manipulating you." The queen nodded once, her voice dark. "I know." The elder stepped back. "Take them." The guard in the hall raised their weapons. Dozens of them, all aimed at the queen and the human. The queen closed her eyes for a moment. Ethan watched her in confusion. "Are you okay?" She inhaled slowly. "I'm not okay," she said. "I'm becoming something else." The child pulsed inside her hard. Her body glowed brighter than before. Her fists clenched. Ethan stepped back instinctively. The High Elder shouted, "Fire!" Dozens of plasma bolts shot across the hall, but none reached their targets. A dome of silver energy exploded out of the queen's body, forming a shield that swallowed every attack. The bolts bounced off, slammed into walls, backfired onto the shooters. The council cried out in shock. What is this?" one elder shouted. The queen opened her eyes. They were pure white. No pupils, no iris, just blinding light. When she spoke, her voice echoed like thunder. "This is not corruption." Her aura expanded, shaking the entire hall. "This is evolution." Ethan stared, breathless. The queen lifted her hand. The soldiers' weapons bent and twisted in the air like liquid metal. The hall trembled under her power. The High Elder stumbled back. She's unstable." "Stop her." The queen took a single step forward. An entire hall cracked beneath her feet. "You wanted the child," she said. "You will not have it." She moved again. Energy burst outward. Elders fell. Guards screamed. Machines exploded. The throne room windows shattered. And Ethan realized something terrifying. The queen wasn't just protecting herself. She wasn't just protecting him. She was defending the child with a power that the galaxy had never seen. A power that was still growing, still changing, still awakening. The queen raised her head, eyes blazing like stars. "We end this now." The entire council trembled as she walked toward them, and something far more dangerous than fear entered their hearts. Submission, because they finally understood. A human-alien hybrid child was coming, and its mother was unstoppable. The council hall lay in ruins. Smoke curled up from shattered pillars. Cracked marble covered the floor. Fallen guards groaned in pain, unable to stand. The elders huddled together in terror, their power shattered like weak glass. But the queen, she stood in the center of the destruction, glowing brighter than the torches on the walls. Silver energy pulsed under her skin, rising with every breath she took. Ethan watched her, his heart pounding. She looked different, stronger, fiercer, almost radiant. But there was something else too, a flicker of exhaustion, a tremor in her fingertips, like her body was struggling to contain the power growing inside her. He stepped toward her carefully. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. The queen didn't answer at first. She pressed a hand against her abdomen, her breath quickening. The child pulsed again, harder than before, too hard. Ethan reached for her arm. "What's happening?" The queen's voice trembled. "It's waking." A wave of energy shot through her, making her knees buckle. Ethan caught her just before she collapsed. For a moment, the queen, who had never fallen before any enemy, leaned on him, her breath ragged. The High Elder watched with fear and disbelief. "She cannot control it," he whispered. "She is becoming a danger to herself." The queen lifted her head, eyes blazing. "Silence." The elder fell quiet instantly. Ethan helped her straighten, but she gently pushed him away. "I'm not weak," she said. "I didn't say you were," Ethan replied. For a brief second, their eyes met. Something unspoken passed between them. Something powerful. Something new. But the moment shattered when another surge of energy shook her body. The queen grabbed a broken pillar to steady herself. "This child," she whispered, "is growing faster than before." Ethan nodded. "I know. I can feel it too." She stared at him, surprised. "You can feel it inside me?" He nodded again. "It's like a presence. A warm pressure." The queen lowered her gaze to her abdomen. A faint silver glow pulsed through her armor again. Gentle, rhythmic, alive. Ethan stepped closer. "It's communicating, but not with words. With instincts." The queen closed her eyes. For a moment, she let herself just breathe. But then, a new alarm blared. A deeper one, a sound she had never heard before. The palace speakers crackled. "Warning. Unknown energy surge detected. Inner reactor destabilizing. Evacuate immediately." Ethan frowned. "Inner reactor? That's your power core, right?" The queen's eyes snapped open, filled with shock. "The child's energy, it's affecting the core." Ethan paled. "You're saying your entire palace could?" "Yes," she breathed. "If the core overloads, the whole capital could be destroyed." The High Elder shouted desperately. "Stop her! Her presence is destabilizing everything." The queen grabbed the elder by the throat and lifted him off the ground. "My presence keeps this empire alive," she growled. "Your cowardice weakens it." She threw him aside like a broken weapon. The hall's walls shuddered again. Boom! The floor vibrated. Boom! Lights flickered wildly. The queen steadied herself and turned to Ethan. "We must reach the reactor chamber," she said. "Only I can stabilize it." Ethan blinked. "Ow! You're the cause of it." "I'm also the only one connected to the energy that is disrupting it," she said. "If I can control the child's power, I can save the palace." Ethan swallowed. "And if you can't?" She stared at him. "If I cannot, everything will burn." He hesitated only for a moment, then nodded. "Then I'm coming with you." The queen's eyes softened for a brief moment. "No, it is too dangerous. The energy could tear you apart." Ethan shook his head. "I'm connected to the child too. You set yourself. Maybe I can help." The queen hesitated. Not out of doubt. Out of fear. Fear for him. Fear she had never felt for anyone before. Another shock wave hit the palace. The queen reached for Ethan's shoulder. "Stay close to me," she said quietly. "If you feel pain, tell me. If you feel your mind slipping, tell me. If anything feels wrong, I'll tell you." Ethan interrupted gently. "But don't worry about me. Worry about the child." The queen stared at him, her breath slowing, her anger fading, replaced by something deeper. She finally nodded. "Then let us go." They moved through the collapsing halls, passing wounded guards, broken machines, and flickering energy shields. Every step felt heavier, every heartbeat stronger, every glow brighter. The closer they got to the reactor, the more unstable the queen became. Her light flickered, her balance wavered, her breath deepened. Ethan stayed right beside her. "Talk to me," he whispered. "What do you feel?" The queen stopped walking and rested her hand on the wall. "It is pushing," she said, "like it wants to break free, like it wants to protect us." Ethan frowned. "Protect us? How?" The queen shook her head. "I do not know, but it is afraid, and it is powerful, too powerful." A new tremor hit, nearly knocking Ethan off his feet. He caught himself and grabbed her arm. "Let's move." The queen nodded, though her steps were slower, heavier, almost trembling. When they finally reached the massive reactor chamber doors, they were glowing bright red, overheated, overloaded, near collapse. The queen placed her hand on the door. "It is worse than I thought," she whispered. Ethan looked at her, his voice gentle. "Can you stabilize it?" The queen inhaled deeply and closed her eyes. "I must try." But before she could enter, a sudden bolt of energy shot through her body. She gasped loudly. Her knees buckled. Ethan caught her instantly. "What happened?" The queen's voice trembled. "It's happening. The child, it is waking fully." Her glow intensified, blinding, silver lightning crackling across her armor. Ethan's eyes widened in fear. "Queen, your skin." Another pulse hit her, stronger. She cried out. Ethan held her tightly. "What do I do? Tell me." Her eyes snapped open, pure white light pouring from them. She grabbed Ethan's hand. "You must not leave me," she whispered. "I'm right here," he shouted over the roaring energy. The Queen's glowing hand tightened around his. "Ethan, something is coming." A shock wave burst around them. Lights shattered. The reactor screamed. The child inside her awoke, fully, and the entire palace trembled in fear. The entire palace shook as if a giant had wrapped its hands around the walls and tried to rip them apart. The Queen fell to one knee, her entire body glowing like a burning star. Silver lightning tore across her armor, cracking metal as if it were thin ice. Ethan held her shoulders, struggling to stay standing as the ground vibrated under them. "Queen, talk to me. What's happening?" Her voice came out as a whisper and a growl and an echo all at once. "It's awakening. The child is no longer sleeping." Another shock wave burst around her, knocking Ethan back. He hit the floor hard, but immediately crawled back toward her. The Queen clutched her stomach, teeth clenched, eyes blazing white-hot. "You must stay close. Don't let go." Her sentence broke into a gasp as another wave hit her. Ethan grabbed her hand, squeezing tight. "I'm here. I'm not leaving you, do you hear me?" Her grip tightened. She wasn't grabbing him for support. She was grabbing him for control, like she was holding on to reality with his presence alone. The reactor chamber doors groaned, metal bending outward as energy surged inside. Bright blue light flashed through every crack, blinding and wild. Ethan swallowed hard. "The reactor, it's reacting to the child." The Queen nodded, trembling. "I know. I can feel its fear." She pressed her hand against her abdomen. "It is afraid the palace will crush us. It is trying to protect us." Ethan blinked. "Protect how?" Before she could answer, the door exploded outward with a blast of blue-white fire. Ethan shielded his eyes. The Queen stood slowly, bracing herself against the shockwave. When the smoke cleared, Ethan saw something unbelievable. The reactor wasn't a smooth core anymore. It was twisted, alive, almost breathing. Energy spiraled around it like veins of living light. Every pulse matched the Queen's glowing skin. The child was connected to it, and the connection was unstable. The Queen stepped forward, slowly, painfully. "It is feeding on my energy, and I am feeding on it." Ethan caught her again as she stumbled. "You can't get closer. It'll tear you apart." The Queen placed a hand on his cheek. Her touch was warm, too warm. "I must," she whispered. "If I do not calm the child, the entire city will fall." Ethan stared at her, breath shaking. "You'll die." Her eyes softened. "If that is what it takes to keep you." She stopped herself. The sentence hung unfinished in the air. Ethan swallowed, throat tight. "Don't say it. Don't you dare say it like you're giving up." The Queen's eyes narrowed. "I do not give up." "Then live," he whispered. "For the child. For your empire. For—" He stopped. Their eyes locked. For a moment, the world fell silent around them. Silver sparkles drifted off her skin. Ethan stood framed in the glow of two different worlds meeting. Her breath caught. "Ethan," she whispered, but a violent spasm cut through her body, forcing her to her knees. The child was pushing, not to be born, but to protect. The Queen's voice broke. "It is too strong. Ethan, I cannot control it." He grabbed her shoulders. "Then I'll help you control it." "Ow," she gasped. He didn't know. He just held her face between his hands. "Look at me." Her breathing slowed. The energy around her flickered. "Look at me." She lifted her eyes. White fire, pain, fear, strength, everything mixed inside her gaze. "Your body connected to mine," Ethan whispered. "Your child connected to me. If there's any link, any bond, we use it now." She stared at him, trembling. "You believe this will work?" "I believe in you." Her breath shook, and the child inside her pulsed violently. But this time, it wasn't wild. It wasn't angry. It felt confused. Ethan placed his hand on her abdomen, trembling. It can hear me, he whispered. The queen blinked. Hear you? He nodded. It feels your fear. It thinks you are dying. The queen's eyes widened. I'm not, she whispered toward the energy. I'm here. I'm strong. I am your mother. Ethan placed his forehead against hers. And I'm here too. A pulse. A warm one. Then another. The violent energy dropped, just a little. The queen exhaled. It listens. Ethan nodded. So talk to it. Show it calm. Show it safety. The queen placed her hands on her stomach, closing her eyes. I'm not in danger, she whispered. You are safe. We are safe. Her glow dimmed, ever so slightly. Ethan spoke softly too. You don't need to protect us like this. We're together. We're okay. The child responded. A wave of gentle warmth spread through the queen's body. The spiraling energy around the reactor slowed. Stabilized. Softened. The queen gasped. It is working. Ethan smiled, only for the moment to shatter. A sudden burst of red light shot across the chamber. Ethan barely had time to pull the queen aside before the blast hit the wall behind her. She snapped her head around. Footsteps. Armored. Cold. The High Elder stepped forward, holding a forbidden energy cannon, one capable of killing even a queen. Behind him stood 30 elite soldiers, all weapons aimed at the queen and the human. You are too dangerous to rule, the Elder hissed. You risk everything. Our empire, our world, our future. Ethan stepped in front of the queen. You're the one risking your future. She was stabilizing it. You almost destroyed everything. The Elder snarled. A hybrid child is an abomination. It must be destroyed. The queen stood tall, glowing brighter than fire. You will not touch what is mine. The Elder raised his cannon. Then you will die with it. Time slowed. Ethan's eyes widened. The queen braced, but too slowly. The child inside her pulsed. Once, twice, 3 times. The reactor exploded with silver light. A wave of power erupted from the queen's body, brighter than a supernova. The chamber shattered. The soldiers flew. The Elder screamed. The walls disintegrated. Ethan was thrown backward. But the queen caught him midair, holding him to her chest as the universe exploded around them. When the light finally faded, a wide crater remained. The Elder was gone. The soldiers lay unconscious. The reactor was calm, silent, alive. The queen stood in the center of the destruction, breathing slowly. Her glow dimmed. Her armor cracked, but she was still standing. Ethan pulled back slightly, looking into her eyes. You did it. The queen nodded weakly. We did it. He stared at her. You saved your world. She touched her abdomen gently. No, we did. Ethan placed his hand over hers. The child pulsed softly, warm, gentle, alive. For the first time, the queen smiled. Not a fierce smile. Not a cruel one. A real one. Ethan, she whispered, voice trembling. Our child will be strong. He smiled back, breath shaking. And loved. The queen froze. Love. It was a word she had never allowed herself to feel. Yet hearing it, she didn't reject it. She didn't fear it. She let it live. For a moment. Just a moment. Then she leaned her forehead against his. Stay with me, she whispered. He held her close. I'm not going anywhere. The palace lights slowly brightened. The alarms faded. The world calmed. But deep inside her, the hybrid child, the most powerful being ever born, slept peacefully, protected, loved, and waiting for the moment it would open its eyes in a galaxy that would never be the same again.